Hello and welcome to the European Football Podcast. This is the second episode, so you should already know the format and stuff like that. As again, I am joined by our faithful producer, Kieran.
Hola, how are we doing?
Not too bad. And we are also joined by the one and only Peter Yates.
Hi everyone.
In this week's episode, we'll be looking through some of Europeans' biggest teams and how their pre-season's going. We'll be looking at some other marquee signings. Then we'll be trying to replace the biggest one-man team in the Premier League and looking at the past of Steve Bruce. All that and more on the European Football Podcast. So, boys, there's been some football. Football's back in Europe. We've got some Premier League teams in action. We'll start off with Man City. How did they get on in the Premier League Asia Trophy, Pete?
Losing, weren't they? To West Ham, down 1-0.
They were. Turned it around though, didn't they?
Some substantial changes. If you'd had a bet on them to win at half time, you'd have been lucks in. And they were really down for a penalty as well, weren't they? Big Marky Noble doing Marky Noble type things.
That's what he does.
Mr. West Ham. Dream. He started pre-season strong, hasn't he? Another 2 goals. He's going to be on fire next season.
Especially with the new VAR rules. Him and what's he called? Milivojevic will be top goal scorers of the Prem. Golden boot race.
What is it that decides who plays in the Asia Trophy?
I think their teams just put themselves in for it.
Oh, did they?
Liverpool won it last year.
Yeah, I was going to say. I remember last year it was 4 different teams. Wasn't it? It was Liverpool.
Yeah.
Who
Only
else won?
Premier League Liverpool have won.
The 4 this year: Newcastle, West Ham, Wolves, and City.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just
Let's
feels
talk
a bit
about
like
that other game.
Was Stevie Bruce there yesterday at Newcastle?
He was. That was his first game in charge.
I didn't know whether
Big
he'd actually
Steve.
flown over or not.
Yeah.
he did.
In time to win.
Not a great start.
Did he? So he picked the whole squad and set out that formation and.
I remember I saw a tweet. It was like 8:30. Steve Bruce is about to start his first game as Newcastle manager, and then 11:30. Newcastle fans already want Steve Bruce out as Newcastle manager.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that game now then. It was a 4-0 loss to Wolves. Great Wolves display. Dominant performance. Kieran?
I mean, I really like Wolves as a team. Last year.
Glad you didn't mean the animals.
I mean, I like wolves as animals as well. They're just like dogs.
No, don't go petting them in the wild.
You can stroke them. Yeah, but as a team last year, I think they did really well coming up from the Championship. Obviously, spent a lot of money. They're still. Are they linked with Diego Costa still?
They are, yeah. They're them and Everton.
It's between him and Everton. Him and Everton.
Them and Everton.
Them and Everton. Yeah, like I think that just shows the kind of team they're slowly becoming. I mean, I think Costa and Jota maybe they're a bit too similar.
Well, Costa's gone, and Costa's gone to Leeds on loan for a year.
I meant Diego. Sorry.
You think that Diego Costa and Diego Jota are similar?
Why do I ever speak?
I mean,
I don't think I
they're
meant
quite
Jota.
similar in the fact they're both called Diego, but I mean, other than
I
that,
think I meant Jimenez.
Jimenez,
I was
yeah.
on about
Sorry,
Jimenez, not Jota.
I was so confused. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jimenez and Costa. They're both sort of big shithouses, really, aren't they? Like to get a bit.
I feel
bit
like they
of
wouldn't
tussle
play
in
them
the
as a
box.
2 though.
Well, that's what I mean. If they're not playing them as a 2, then what does Jimenez do?
Well, they've got Europa League football next year, obviously, though. So
True.
you know they will have a lot of games and stuff that needs covering.
I think you owe.
I don't know.
You owe a second season to Jimenez after his first season in the Premier. He was brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
I really
scored
rated him.
his goals. Those little tap-ins at the back post.
Oh yeah, he's crucial.
I've never seen a man score from the 6-yard box so much.
Maybe
yeah.
not since Ruud van Nistelrooy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Fair point.
It's a very old-fashioned
Great.
style of football, I think, but there's definitely a place for it still.
It worked for him.
It
If they
does,
were to
it
keep
does.
Costa in,
If you know what you're doing, then
32. Probably not got the legs to play every week, but He'd
No.
come in on a hefty wage and he'd do a job, wouldn't he? The man's a
Yeah.
beast.
Well, you say that, but he was terrible for Athletic last year.
He
I bet they
was,
regretted every penny they spent on him.
yeah.
They don't play his kind of football, though, do they? Really?
I would agree. I think Costa's still got goals in him. He'd do a job in the Prem.
He would, especially in a team like Wolves, where they play sort of very defensive and then hump up to the big man.
But I suppose it's up to him because he's still contracted at Madrid. They just don't see him getting a look in with them signing Morata on a permanent, obviously.
Yeah,
Felix as well.
Felix coming in.
100%. Well, yeah, I think that's fair. I also think it's interesting with Wolves, with Costa, that when he was at Chelsea, I remember him scoring more against like the lower teams, which is what Wolves struggled with. So maybe that's an area they've seen as a weakness in the game. You know, taking more points from the top 6 from the bottom 6, you can't really do that in the Premier League. So maybe that's one way they've countered it. Let's say another. Oh, go on, sorry, Pete.
It's quite an accomplishment that they actually managed to do that.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. They're a very difficult team to beat.
I think
Played well on the counter.
they just turned the Molineux into a bit of a fortress, didn't they? Like when you think of the teams that went there, I think City drew with them. They beat. They beat Liverpool there in the FA Cup as well, didn't they?
I'm actually interested. Is it the Molineux or is it just Molineux? I genuinely don't know.
I've never thought about it before. I thought it was.
You said they turned the Molineux, and I was like, oh my god, is it the Molineux?
Yeah, I think it is. I'm not sure.
No idea. Off that topic straight away. Another Premier League team were in action yesterday. 2 were, in fact. First off, we'll go to our resident Arsenal fan, Pete, on the Arsenal game.
Bayern Hunik, eh?
Oh,
Hello.
hello.
What a great result for the boys. I was made at Unai Emery looking very nice, slick back hair and his glasses on, looked like he meant business yesterday.
And he did mean business. 2-1 victory, Pete. All the goals in the second half.
And they were. One was admittedly quite a fluky own goal.
Yeah.
But then,
They'll count.
Yeah, big Robert Lewandowski doing his thing. He came off the bench at half time, scored a nice big header. But our little young man of the hour, Eddie Nketiah, popping up with a winner late on. I like that.
Big player. Big player. Exciting player.
An exciting player, definitely. I think there was a couple of them on show last night. I think both teams started with quite strong 11s and obviously made a lot of subs throughout. But for him to get a goal like that will hopefully do his confidence good going into the season.
100%. Well, speaking of young, exciting Arsenal players, there was the incident with the young Arsenal player on loan at Bochel. Did you see about this, Pete?
The racism was not fair.
Yeah, it's horrible. Truly is horrible. They're German second division, aren't they, Bochel?
Yeah, they are.
So
I mean, there's no place for it in football, but
no.
You fight and lose a battle. It's going to happen, isn't it? You know, look at
Yeah.
prime example. You know, in a different light. Admittedly, he's not black or anything, but Mkhitaryan in the Europa League final being told, sorry, it's not safe here to travel because of his nationality. You know, it all stems down. And if UEFA and FIFA and stuff aren't going to do things about that, then what kind of message are they actually sending out? You know, I'm not going to get into a fight with them though.
Nah. Yeah, it's
because we all know if we'd have had Mkhitaryan, we'd have won 5-4.
Oh, easily.
That creative prowess.
Not only that, Ozil wouldn't have been on the pitch.
A little blonde-haired boy that he is now. My
That's
goodness.
it.
Nah, that new hair's giving him 20 assists next season. I'm telling you.
Have you seen the story behind the hair?
No.
So, him, Kolasinac, and Mustafi, I think it was, all had hitting the crossbar competition with Lacazette, and if they weren't able to do it, he picked the forfeit for them, and the forfeit was to dye their hair bright blonde. I think all 3 of them have done it.
And all 3 of them are useless as well.
Yeah.
Pick Arsenal's worst 3 players.
Let's
And
make
they've all
them
got
stand
blonde
out
hair.
with bright blonde hair.
It's just like, it's like you purposely picked them, make him stand out even more. Yeah, Özil is one of those players that I've never liked him. I hate him.
No,
I just have a
I
hatred
liked him
for
at-
Özil.
At Bremen and at
Maybe
Real
at
Madrid,
Bremen.
he was quality.
Bremen, I could tolerate him, but I still thought,
Not even Real Madrid, Mesut.
no.
Real Madrid, Mesut was the best. At Mesut.
Yeah, he was good, but he was just so arrogant, and now he still has that arrogance, but he's trash. To put it bluntly.
For me, I watch him week in, week out. He goes missing a lot.
Yeah.
And when he pops up with that moment of magic, you just think that there is a player in there.
It just
And
doesn't do enough,
you
does it?
just want it to be unleashed. I know it was only a sort of weak opposition. When we played Ludogorets and he ended up chipping the centre back, and then he turned the goalkeeper and the other centre back and just tapped it into an empty net. It was just
It was
one
a
of the
gorgeous
sauciest
goal.
goals I've ever seen. But yeah, for the amount you pay him and the amount that we bought him in for, you want him to just be doing more on the pitch. Even if it's not a goal or assist every game, at least just turn up.
Just
Dictate the play, and he just doesn't do that.
It just doesn't look like he cares, does he, when he's playing? It's
No,
like
he
he
doesn't.
loses the ball, he's just like throwing a tantrum, and you're like, just carry on, play football,
Yeah.
like do what you're paid to do. But I could rant about Özil for a while.
I still think though, if football is a game of stats, he's still a fair few ahead of goal and assist ratio in the past 6 years to your players like your De Bruyne's and stuff like that.
That would be an interesting one to look at. I think it is just his attitude though. I think it's the same sort of problem that United fans have with Pogba a lot lately. It's just an attitude thing with him. Like he's definitely got the abilities there still because he shows it every now and again. It's just it's like he picks and chooses. Like if the team aren't playing well, he'll play especially bad. But if the team are playing well, that's when he starts to like turn up and finally do something.
Well, that's it. If you want to heap pressure onto a player like they do most weeks, you have to keep calling him out because he just doesn't produce.
Yeah, completely agree.
But we did beat Bayern Munich, and that was our second in the pre-season. So up the boys.
Up the Emirates.
Glad you managed to pull that back there, Pete. Guys, the next team, we'll talk about two last Premier League teams, and we'll go on to the continent more. Man United beat Leeds 4-0, Kieran, in Perth.
I had the joy of spending that time with Will while the game was on. Yeah, he was saying that United. Well, he said he was really excited for United to put in a good contest this year in the Premier League with that front three: Marcus Rashford, Daniel James, Mason Greenwood. He was very excited by it. I mean, rightfully so, maybe.
No, that front three just will not play with it, surely.
No, I can't imagine those three starting most of their Premier League games this year.
No,
I think it's a cup team. Yeah, Rashford will, obviously, but well, especially with Big Rom,
Seems to be off, doesn't he?
he does.
Tony Martial, he seemed. What did he say in his interview yesterday, or the day before? Solskjaer was saying that he still fully believes in Sanchez's ability and wants to give him the leash to life again.
That is a terrifying thought. But no, yeah. One of the things that Will was saying yesterday, though, he was saying that Daniel James is probably the fastest man on the planet.
I don't disagree with that. After watching that goal,
very fast.
That goal he scored for Swansea against Brentford is, if you've not seen it, go and look at it. It shows pure pace.
I think it was against Brentford. He ran 83 yards in 8 seconds or 8.2 seconds or something, which is like 10 yards a second, which is very, very fast.
Maths.
There's some quick maths for you. Welcome back to Maths Corner. Maths Corner with Kieran.
That's great. We'll just talk about, I'll just mention quickly, Chelsea had a quick 2 games in Ireland. They beat St Pat's 3-0. And they were held to a 1-1 draw against the Bohemians, which was Frank Lampard's first game, which is quite worrying. But they managed to recover against St. Pat's.
What was their lineup against the Bohemians?
Oh, it was great. It was a good lineup. Basically, they dominated the game,
And-
1-0 the whole game.
I know
minute
Bats-
they conceded.
Batshuayi scored, didn't he? So I'm guessing he started.
Mason Mount played, David Luiz,
That's an interesting one.
Willie Cabrera. It was a good team. But yeah, literally, Chelsea dominated the game, couldn't get a second goal. And then Bohemians just scored in the last minute.
Wow.
Not over until the fat lady sings, is it?
Now we'll talk about another team going through quite a poor pre-season. It's Pete Yates' best mate, Andre Villas-Boas.
Oh, wow.
Losses to Accrington, Stanley and Rangers with full-strength team out. Pete, what's going on in Marseille?
If we recall last week, I said I really like his hair. And I really like his kind of persona. I do. But I also said I think he's going to struggle at Marseille. And I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't make out the full season. That's not just based on these 2 performances he's had so far, but just Marseille in general tend to have struggled over the past few seasons. But, I mean, my God, how can you justify losing to Accrington Stanley? I mean, not only
Stanley,
that,
who were they?
2-1 would be an disrespectable scoreline if it wasn't against Accrington Stanley, but the Rangers won. My God, they were absolutely battered. I watched them the game.
4-0, wasn't it?
4 could have been 6, 7.
Jeez.
Absolutely demolished Marseille. They just didn't have a look in.
Shocking.
Incredible.
Well, Marseille do have a chance to save themselves today. They got a friendly against Bordeaux. Very beatable team, Bordeaux.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, if we're talking about teams that have fallen from grace in France, Bordeaux are right up there. But as
them and
are
Montpellier.
Marseille. Yeah, very
Huge
true.
more.
Goodness me, League One winners not too long ago, 2012.
With big Olivier scoring the goals.
Interesting.
Staying in
Adam.
France.
Sorry.
Go on.
Before
Go
we
on.
head off to France full time, when you said Pete's mate, I thought you were going to say Sean Dyche, and I thought we were going to talk about that Tranmere Burnley friendly. I thought it could be our chance to finally cover it.
I mean, yep. I don't know that Pete was friends with Sean Dyche, but
Pete loves Sean Dyche.
I am a fan of Sean Dyche.
Well, yes, that is true. Also, the same day, Burnley actually beat Accrington Stanley 8-0. We've come full circle.
See?
Full
It's all connected.
circle.
You're welcome.
Burnley
for that
would
fine
beat Marseille 16-8. It's 100% fact. You can't argue with that.
That's what we've got to do now, set up a third place finish between Tranmere and Marseille.
Oh my God.
Oh, wait. First,
Wait, no.
no.
Should be a fit. Well, I don't know. Tranmere need to play Accrington and Marseille, and then we'll talk.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about Tranmere anymore. Terrible. I've heard so many Liverpool fans say 6-0 to me. Well, at least I go to the games. That's all I'll say. At least I've been to a game for my team. Back to France now. Let's talk about PSG. They got their pre-season started off with a nice game against Dynamo Dresden and a 5-1 win. Do you watch any of that, Pete?
I didn't watch the game. I thought it was actually 6-1, to be honest.
Might have been. All I know is Mbappe was involved in 4 of the goals.
Yeah,
no Neymar, no problem.
He scored twice. I know Draxler scored as well, but I remember seeing the other goal scorers. I wasn't actually too familiar with who they were, which is probably a bit harsh on my part. I should really do my research, but no, I didn't. I wasn't aware. I think it was more for a kind of welcome back, boys. Let's start doing stuff, because there was a lot of the new boys in. Like Ander Herrera started, I know that, and Pablo Sarabia started as well. I want to say. So, yeah, trying to get a bit of gel, weren't they?
Yeah.
We
move on. Oh, sorry, Pete.
I'm just saying he plays. All the little new Spaniards played, and Hesse I think played, isn't he?
Oh,
Hesse Rodriguez.
very nice.
Yes, indeed. He
interesting.
is currently back at PSG.
Yeah.
Makes me sad. I wish he'd just continue his rap career. Moving.
You're the only one who wants that.
Have you never heard his music? It's bloody brilliant. Honestly,
It's probably better than his football.
it's 100% better than his football. Apart from when he was at the peak of Stoke. But he's had a lot of things going
That
on,
man's
hasn't he? He had
career
his
baffles me.
he had what's it called? That his baby was prematurely born and stuff. So, you know, he's got some excuse for his, we'll say, rebellious behaviour. On to something more happier.
God, that brought it down.
We're on. I know. We are off to Italia. Fiorentina, not playing in Italy. Beat Guadalajara, didn't they, Pete? They
2-1. 2-1.
2-1.
Yeah, they're part of the old international cup, aren't they, as well? Same as the Arsenal boys. They're up next, I think, for us.
Yep.
So
Real Madrid have got Bayern next as well.
have they? That'll be a good game.
I know, I was thinking that.
There's some good teams in that.
Mm.
And
Very-
Arsenal. I mean, sorry.
Okay, I mean, we're currently, admittedly on alphabetical prowess, we are top of that table.
True.
And we're
true.
the only team, along with Fiorentina, that have played a game. But we both went out.
Mm.
Yeah, Fiorentina, they've got my big man, haven't they, up front? My lovely Simeone.
Simeone, yeah.
Yeah, he scored, actually, against Guadalajara.
Which is good 'cause he didn't score much last year.
He didn't. If you watch a lot of the games, he was either sub off around the 50th, 60th minute mark, or not really played at all.
Mm.
Fiorentina,
Favour Luis Muriel, didn't they?
Yeah, I am a fan of Fiorentina, but I don't see them, challenging for anything in the Serie A. Definitely not
Well,
the way they're transferred.
Mm. They had a poor year last year, didn't they, in 16th place?
Yeah,
Just too many draws, I think, was the issue. But I think if Federico Chiesa goes, then I think they will struggle. Same with Nikola Milenkovic.
yeah, I think they're big players that deserve
Mm.
probably a bit better than Fiorentina. No disrespect to any Fiorentina fans if they decide to listen.
No. Well, the Fiorentina just aren't the Fiorentina they used to be, are they?
No, of course.
Is Matsari back there? Or did I make that up? I feel like he is. I feel like they've got a real backwards thinking manager, and I think they're just going about things the wrong way.
It wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, this is the worst I've seen them since Chechigori left. So
16th, you say they
Nice.
finished, yeah.
yeah, I think it was 16th. Yeah, they were
It's
near the
heavy,
relegation zone. Indeed.
Were they ever in danger?
Yeah, a lot of the season, especially at the end when Frosinone started picking up points, similar to Empoli.
I think you are right. I think Vincenzo Montella is their man.
Yeah.
Speaking of Italy, here's my interesting fact of the day. Have you heard about the new tax law they're thinking of bringing in? Have you heard about this, Pete?
I have not.
Basically, there's a new law where they're trying to get more rich people into the country.
Right.
So what they're doing is they give you, I think it's 70% of your wages tax free, and then they only so they tax 40% when you earn over 100 grand a year or whatever. But you only get charged that 40% off the remaining 30% you get left. So the footballers will be getting paid ridiculously more
Right,
than they would in other countries. So, I mean, their economy's not the best anyway. So that's why they're trying to bring all these rich people in.
Viva Italia.
Which is why today, Neymar Jr.'s agent is meeting with the Juventus director of football, apparently.
This is why.
So, if reports are to be believed, because
not
he
sure.
loves
I'm
money.
not 100% sure when they're bringing that in. That's the only thing. It is soon, though.
Or if you've just made it up.
I know,
Brilliant,
I
Kieran,
haven't
thank
made
you.
It up. I haven't made it up.
Or if somebody has just made it for it to sound good.
If
Con a
we
load
say
of
this, we'll
players to
bring
get
it in.
over here.
Maybe that'll be why Mateus has gone there. Anyway, they'll
Oh,
take that on to
dude.
transfers.
Making our
Mateus
way.
de Ligt.
I'm
to
still
Juventus.
I'm just so angry that not because he's gone to Juventus. I think that's a fabulous move. some of the best defenders throughout history have been Italian born and bred. But he's gone there. He'll do a job in Juve's backline, and he'll go to whichever club he wants to. But when I keep reading about Harry effing Maguire
Oh God.
and the price they're putting on him, oh my God, I just can't. It's just wrong.
What makes me feel even worse is when I see that Leicester, after Maguire goes looking for replacements, how the prices of those have been driven up. 50 million for Lewis Dunk apparently to Leicester.
Yeah,
I've read today.
Shambolic.
That's obscene amounts
For
of money for a
Dunk?
26-year-old.
Yeah.
Lewis Dunk's a good footballer.
I know, but if the
20 mil, 25.
If the Lict's worth 67 mil, Dunk is not worth 50. Is it 67 and a half he's going to Juve for? Or is that the rumoured price?
That's what I think it's 75, but still, it's still.
I think that's euros, and I think it's 67.
It is 67.
Oh, is that how it works out? Yeah.
Yeah. But
Still.
again, and someone said asked me the other day, so yeah, but he's English. What does that make him good? That now makes Harry Maguire worth 75, 80 million quid.
Pete, we never know in this post-Brexit world. We might have to have a team full of English players, and Harry Maguire's price will go up tenfold.
Oh, it's just
Good God.
it's just scary, isn't it? Like 9-10 years ago, you signed Cristiano Ronaldo for 80, 90 million quid, and now here we are in 2019, and Harry Maguire has the same valuation as the peakest informed player of his life, and oh my God, I just don't understand it. But fair play to Delity. I'm sure he was offered contracts by every big club in the world. So what a great move! What a fantastic, and I'm sure he will be an ideal fit into that Italian line, because there's a lot of old centre backs there at Juve.
Yeah.
Which he can A, learn from, and B, you've got a replacement for the next however many.
Okay. Well, let's keep in Italy. Inter have made some new midfield signings. They've signed Stefano Sensi and Nicolo Barella. What do we think of those transfers, boys?
I like
Kieran?
Yeah. I'm not Kieran, but I'll throw it.
I was waiting for Pete to say something.
Everyone was in
I can
silence,
only
and I was like,
imagine that Pete
anyone.
was waiting for me to say something.
No, I'm a bit of a fan. I think,
Well, yeah, Barella had started. Is Italy's main man, isn't he, in midfield? So
he has, yeah. I'm a big fan of his from FM days gone by. He's he's signed permanent, is he, for Inter Milan, or has he gone on loan?
I think it's a loan deal, and it goes permanent when FFP aren't chasing them in the arse.
Right, fair. Because I mean, like, his goal scoring wasn't amazing for.
No.
He's not really that type of midfielder, is he? I don't think. How do you pronounce it? Sensi?
Stefano Sensi, I think it is.
Sensi. I don't think his goal scoring record at Sassuolo was amazing either. They're keeping young Italian core. I like that. I've got that. They're not huge money gone round, but I think Zaniolo was still the main man to buy.
Yeah,
it's one of them as well. They want to be competing in Europe, don't they? They want to be back in the glory days.
They just seem to have a lot of players on their book.
Yeah. But the thing is, though, there's the new thing that's the Conte factor, and then I don't know about you guys, but Conte is a winner in my eyes. Like, everywhere he goes, he's won.
Yeah,
when he first went to Chelsea, people, were like, oh, well, he's at Chelsea, but he's obviously not going to compete. He's a new manager coming into a new league. He's going to try and earth in his new system. And they won the Premier League the first years back. And then the second year, when he was supposedly unsuccessful and he got sacked, he still won an FA Cup. The man is a born winner.
That is very true.
Okay.
And he knows the Italian league well.
He does.
100%.
Defensively, very solid as well. In his setup.
I just think he's gone a bit crazy and thinking that he wants rid of Icardi. I know he's a troublemaker, but my God, just try and get the best out of him. He's such a good player.
It's strange because Icardi wants to go to Juve. Inter don't want to sell to Juve. So now Icardi is pretending to be Mr. Inter Milan. Again, he said in an interview, he goes, I bleed Inter. It's just the only people that don't think that seem to be the manager and the Inter Milan fans who will hate him. So, just the two most important people that
And
you
his
need
wife.
to think of, Mr. Inter.
He just
His
sounds
wife and agent who
absolutely
wants him more.
nuts.
Yeah,
He
well,
is
that's a whole other thing, isn't it? People whose agents are related to them in some way. Because
True.
Fabio's mum's a dickhead, basically. So, yeah. Let's
Did
move on
he
to the
sack
next
her?
transfer. No, she's still
Are
there.
you sure?
The battle axe. Well, here's the thing. Apparently, he sacked the quotation, but he doesn't have an actual agent, and she's been doing his business anyway. Very strange. Let's stay in Italy, and we'll go to Gianluca Mancini to Roma as
He
some
had a
sort of
good
Manolas
season.
replacement. Yeah.
Yeah, he had a good season last year, didn't he?
Mhm.
Think
Goodbye.
they spent quite a bit, haven't they, for in the 20s, wasn't it? 20 mils, 27.
It's
He's
an
on
initial
loan,
loan fee with the
Yeah.
option for 20 million.
Oh,
So-
fair.
It's not bad. I think the thing is, if it doesn't work out, they can just not buy him.
Yeah, of course.
So
But
it's,
yeah, like you say, Manolas going out and him coming in, 6'4", young Italian, again keeping a nice core. I think he's a good centre back.
Yeah.
I quite rate it. You see good loan deals go through in Syria now for homegrown talent. You don't really ever see it.
Let's talk about another good loan deal. Jean-Michel Seri to Galatasaray. Pete, I know you're a fan.
Oh, I'm not a fan. I think. I think
I meant
he's,
more a fan of Seri, but
well, I think he's a good player, and I always think he's just always set his benchmark low. I think the whole move to Fulham in the first place was silly, given some of the clubs he was linked.
Barcelona.
He was linked with Barca, Milan's and stuff like that, and again he was linked with AC Milan, and he's done Nice, Fulham, and now Galatasaray. I just think it's a bit dead. I think at 27, 28 nearly, he's probably, that's him. He's not going to get that big illustrious move now and be able to prove that he was or is, a very good player. So
Is he?
I like it.
Is he going on loan with like the thought of Fulham getting back up and then he goes back to them, or is he just going on loan because?
I think a lot of
Fulham can't
teams,
afford
because
to
I'm
lose.
guessing he doesn't have a relegation release clause, so I'm going to assume
Right.
he would have just been gone out and then we'll reassess next year. But okay, moving on, because we keep getting caught up on transfers, because Kieran keeps telling us about laws in Italy that may or may not be real. We're going to go with the one. I've got one more underwhelming transfer before we talk about some big dogs, and that's Fabian Delph to Everton for 10 million.
I wouldn't call that underwhelming. I think Fabian Delph will do a bit of a job there.
Yeah.
I think 10 mil is good. He's a versatile player. He
Won't be a left back, would he?
No, well, I don't think he will be, but he could be if they needed him to be. I've spoken
Obviously,
to
they've still got
Disney. Yeah, I've spoken to a couple of fans about it, and at first they were the same, like, "Oh God, why are we signing him?" But you look into it, and it's not that bad of a deal. He's not there on the most money. He's cheap in today's market. A player that will do a job. He's liked as well, is what I've noticed in all the dressing rooms he's been in. You'll always see on social media people are gutted to see him leave. So he's got that influence in the dressing room to get players going. I think it's a good deal. I wouldn't want him anywhere near Arsenal, but I do think it's a good signing for them.
I'll say one last thing on Mr. Fabian Delph, and that is say something. It's a video. My favourite moment. Of Fabian
Say
Delph.
something. It's a video.
It's a video.
Now we're gonna go to a crazy transfer. Kieran Trippier to Atletico Madrid. What's going on there?
Crazy.
What's that about?
Bloody crazy. No, I mean Trippier's not the most solid defensive right back I've ever seen. he's good at going forward. He can whip a ball in. But are Atletico that kind of team where they want that? You got to think they've been very defensive over the last couple of years. But now they've lost Godin. Bringing in Trippier, is that a solid choice? I don't know.
You've got to think though. The way I see it is, because James Horncastle did a piece on this, and he said that, well, the player he's replacing in Juanfran was a retrained winger, so it's not like he didn't like going forwards, and
True.
like you could see Morata scoring 20 headers a year just from Trippier's crosses, because that's one thing he definitely has got in his game. So I can see it, but I think there's just better options out there than Kieran Trippier. But
It feels a bit out there as well. Like, it's very rare you see
For
English
Atleti.
players leaving England.
I read that it's one of them that's like the transfer is a rumor plus the month you were born plus the millions is the date of birth you were born, and that's how it seems that Kieran Trippier has ended up at Atletico for I honestly didn't see it happening, but
no. Well, I saw Nappy linked, and I thought that makes more sense. But
they're apparently listing or telling Danny Rose he can leave as well.
Yeah.
If Alderweireld goes as well, big shape up at the back.
Well, that's being said though, the starting defence would probably still be Davis, Sanchez, Vertonghen, and Aurier. With probably Juan Foyth coming in if they're playing a 5-back.
He's shy.
And yet still he's Argentina's best defender.
Yeah, that's...
Other than maybe Nicola Tagliafico.
But you won't find me saying a nice word about him still. So.
Oh yeah, of course. We're gonna go and we're gonna stay in Spain for a few more transfers. I'm just gonna mention the Oliver Torres one to Sevilla. He's friends with Solari. Someone leaving Spain is Jason Muriel. Swap deals, Santi Mina and Maxi Gomez. That's quite interesting. And then we got the two big ones. Not two big ones. One I want to talk about, and then another big one. We've got Marc Cucurella. Barca messing him about a bit. Went to Eibar, back to Barca, 3 times as much. Just a strange deal.
Yeah, I think Barca have just done it because they know they will make more money on it. But it's just a bit of we're the bigger club, we'll do this. Live with it. Because what do they pay Eibar? 4 mil? They ain't gonna sign probably a better player than Marc Cucurella, I don't think.
No. He's a very good versatile player, can play on left back or left wing.
Yeah. He was very good.
Griezmann. He's gone to Barcelona.
Greasy.
Oh, and Atletico are not happy about that, are they? They kind of just cut all bloody ties with him and seeming like he was
Not
just
pretty.
never even there.
No.
But then I get where they're coming from. If in principle Barca had agreed a deal, then they should have paid them more money, like Atletico was saying.
But Barca obviously waited, didn't they, to sign the deal because...
Yeah, of course, because he was 80 million quid cheaper.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about some strikers then. Obviously, we've got Rondon going to Dilian Yifang, back with Rafa, 20 mil. Makes sense. Sebastian Haller to West Ham. What an exciting team they might be next year. I don't know who West Ham have got in recruitment, but they have turned themselves around.
Well,
Yeah.
I thought they were supposed to have done that last year. With the players they signed in then, and they were still bloody dreadful.
Yeah, it's true.
I've got some. Sorry, I got some fun stats about West Ham.
Oh, fucking hell.
Here we go.
Go on.
Since 2010, sorry about the chair. Since 2010, they've had 38 strikers who, between them, have played 530 odd games and scored like 280 goals between them. So Haller is now striker number 39 in that list. Will he do much different, or is West Ham just sort of becoming a club where strikers just go to
I
flop
think
off?
I think he's a good player, and I think it's
Oh,
it's
yeah.
good. I think it's good business. I do. I think previous strikers they've signed, Lucas Perez, Andy Carroll, Javier Hernandez, these players have just been fringe team players in the clubs they were at and haven't really ever excelled much beyond. And at West Ham, they were just, there was all that hype last season, like, oh my God, they've spent 100+ million, they're going to be fantastic. And they just weren't. I think trying to establish a good core to a team of West Ham will be good. Keeping Declan Rice will be good. Putting a big man like Seb Howler up top will be good for them. Felipe Anderson, if they keep him fit and happy, then fantastic. They're actually, happy days. They're making money on players, which is more than Arsenal are bloody doing. So fair play to it.
True.
Okay.
But
Very nice.
a good signing. I could just go off topic. Sorry, boy. I like Seb. 45 mil. He'll score goal.
Oh yeah, I like him. I'm just, he's got to break that West Ham curse.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's his biggest battle
Oh.
now.
I don't believe in that because Arnautovic was brilliant for West Ham, but that's all the West Ham champ we've got. We've got stay with Frenchman Abdoulaye Diallo, 32 mil to Paris Saint-Germain. What do we think of that, Pete?
Again, good, yeah, all right. It's a good deal. He wasn't really in Dortmund's plans for this season ahead, I don't think. So they've cashed in on him now. Young, very good centre back. Probably looks to be the replacement for Thiago Silva. Maybe they have got personal Kim Pembe as well, who is, I think, a very good centre back.
Ryan.
I like him.
Yeah, he's always good to have around with the books, isn't he? The PSG, it's not like they can't afford to do it. He's a French lad anyway, so yeah, all right. I'm happy with that.
Obviously, the Dortmund link with Mr. Thomas Tuchel as well.
Yeah, I think that's largely why they've gone there, isn't it? Yeah, I can't remember where I read it. I don't think it was an actual manager quote, but someone had linked to the club had just said that he wasn't really in future plans because they want to play that Dan Axel Zagadou.
Oh, Zagadou. Push my apple,
I
shake the
think
tree.
they're wanting to give him the push this season.
Oh, I don't blame him. He's taller, isn't he? I think, or same height.
Yes. And younger as well.
Brilliant roundup. We're gonna end on the Romanians we hyped up last week. Sorry, some people must have been listening who are big scouts from big teams because 2 of them have got their moves. Yanis Hadji to Genk.
Yeah, that's a little underwhelming.
I thought it was underwhelming as well.
Now, last week I said, Christ, I've just read he's been linked with Barcelona. Don't get me wrong, that one's a bit too overly ambitious. But Genk, there's got to be some kind of middle ground there, surely. Genk, they won't even win bloody Belgian league. I don't know why he's gone there.
No. I agree
Maybe
with
they
you.
know something we don't know.
But 20 years old, if he has a couple of seasons decent enough in Belgium, you're going to get scouted more in Belgium than you in Romania.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Belgium's a
could
good way
work out.
to get into the top 5 leagues, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I say, he's 20. He'll have another. But I felt like this after watching him at the Euros. This was his summer to get cemented to a big club and then loan yourself out to somewhere like.
Okay, brilliant.
Not.
And then Radu guys moved back to Inter, didn't he?
He did. Yeah. Again, just a bigger team saying, right, we're going to do this, and we'll just make more money off you in a year or two's time. Football nowadays, isn't it? Just all a business.
Make money.
100%. Well, that was a slightly bleak end to the look into the world of transfers. The silly season, as we like to call it. But yeah. Okay. That sums up our transfer section very nicely. We've done the transfers. We've done the fixtures. Now let's move on to the segment Irreplaceable. Who are we doing it on this week, Kieran?
This week, Adam, we're looking at Crystal Palace, as you call them, the one-man team. And the player in question is Wilfried Zaha.
Okay. So just to give you an idea of what sort of thing, what we're replacing. So 32 goals and 34 assists for Palace in the Premier League. Palace get a lot of penalties through Zaha as well. And I remember they went on like a 16-game losing streak in games which Zaha didn't feature in. Like, they are very reliant on Wilfried Zaha. We're going to come to you first, Kieran, just to get you out of the way. Hear whatever
my
silly thing you
insight
have to
out the way.
say.
Okay.
Yeah, go on.
Well, I had a couple of ideas with this.
Sorry, boys. I've got to just cut across because I've just had an alert that Mario Hermoso has also signed for Atletico Madrid.
Has he really?
Wow, I like that.
Splashing cash.
I like that move. I like Hermoso a lot.
There you go. Sorry, I know we've covered transfers, but it was breaking news.
That is breaking news. Look at this. The podcast is up to date.
Yeah. Anyway, my apologies.
No, that's fine.
It's okay.
If you ever have breaking news again, just feel free. Yeah, where was I? Yeah, I had a couple ideas for this one. So the money you said we were working with was 16 mil. I thought my initial thought was Iago Aspas. He was the first player that came to my head. I thought, he's 31, so you'd be able to get him a bit cheaper now. Can you get him to leave Celta Vigo? These are the things I was weighing up in my head. So he is older, probably going to be cheaper. He can play out wide, he can play in the middle. He's had a cracking couple of seasons at Celta Vigo. But it's just a case of, can you get him away from where he's pretty much become an icon to the club? So my next thought, this is my next trailer thought from this. I was there like, okay, so similar sort of player, Inaki Williams. He's like a younger version. He's valued at roughly 50 million, but I think that is ambitious. There's not a chance. Are you alright, Adam? Do you find something funny?
Most of the things you say, yes.
Okay.
Go on.
Yeah, I then went for Inaki Williams. I thought, he's a very similar style of player to Zaha. He's very quick. He can. Are you okay? Am I gonna?
I didn't say anything.
Yeah, but I can just hear you laughing. I can just hear you having a giggle after every time I say something.
You just keep saying these very outlandish things with so much confidence.
What's outlandish about me saying that Inaki Williams is quick? Do you have anything?
No, I didn't laugh at the fact you said he was quick. You said he was similar to Zaha.
Is he not?
No.
Explain to me how he's not similar to Zaha then, Adam. This is it. This can be a part. Go on.
Okay, Inaki Williams is more of just like the striker for Bilbao. So they sort of filter all their things for him, as in like he's just the one that scores rather than the one that creates. Zaha has to do everything for Palace. Inaki just scores for Bilbao.
Okay. But, again, do you think he would be a bad replacement? I don't think he'd be able to do everything Zaha can, but I think trying to find any player that can do what Zaha does for Palace.
He'd cost about 100 million, which Palace just
He has got 108 release clause, which nicely brought me on to my next thought. Of Keita Balde Deao. What do we think of this pick, Adam? Go on, you're going to tell me how he's...
I like it, yeah.
He's a... He had a bit of a lackluster season for Inter. He's back at Monaco now. Nobody seems to want him. So I think, sort of maybe about 30 to 40 mil for him at a push. You're still leaving yourself... They've got a bit of money left over from Wan-Bissaka as well, I can only imagine. So if they're getting 60 mil for Zaha as well, it still leaves you with a good 30, 40 mil to try and find maybe a striker. Use those two players to replace what Zaha has been doing on his own. And that's
okay. Anything else?
Okay. I also thought maybe DePaul from Udinese. He's been a bit of a good player this season. Had a cracking season for them. And yeah, could probably get him within that. Well, below the 60 million. So, well, it's just one of them.
Okay. Is that you done?
Yeah, they are my options. Feel free to agree or disagree with me.
I see you've gone for the Will Morris approach of just name every single player that's playing football.
Yes, that was what I was going for. I'm trying to cover for him this week. I'm usually the producer, don't say much, but here I am.
My God, have you said so much today? Pete, let's come to you.
So, for me, I went League Un. And I think if you're trying to find that winger type striker player, then I would have said maybe first off Lille's Rafael Leao, who I think is a young, very young, exciting talent. However, is Portuguese, so Wolves may come sniffing first. But again, would probably be affordable for Palace if they were to make the bank on Will Zaha. Another one who, when I found out a few days ago, I would have said was Marcus Coco, but he's just had his move done to
Got the nonce, hasn't he?
He has, for quite cheap. So that left me with one more who, again, winger, plays just behind the striker or as a striker, Alexis Claude Maurice, who was heavily linked at the start of the window with Arsenal, but nothing more seems to have come from that. So Lorient man, he's 21. He's not the biggest, so as a striker, I don't really know whether he'd be able to do a job. He's got goals and assists in him.
That's a very good place. Very, very good shot. I thought you were going to go another way there. With that second choice. You know, someone like Mbai Niang at Stade Rennes.
Yeah, he's another one. Could potentially do a job. I just didn't know which players you were going to be picking.
Also, if you're going for the Marcus Coco route through players that were relegated, Marcus Thuram. Is he available?
Yeah.
Probably. But yeah, those aren't my two. I just think they're interesting players that could do a job.
I think Ligue 1 is loaded with very good potential wingers that could certainly do a job. But I think for Palace, if they were to sell Will Zaha, I think use that money and the money accumulated from Wan-Bissaka and buy yourself an actual out-and-out striker and a win.
That's a similar approach to what I've got. But I've saved the fee on the transfer fee on the striker during its wages. So my picks are Mario Balotelli, free agent, 8 goals in 12 games for Marseille, 33 and 61 for Nice. He's a free agent, you know. Played in the Premier League before. I don't know. I think there's no way it can go wrong, really.
I've got a lot of love for Balotelli. I don't know where it comes
to go
from.
with him, I think it's Brescia. Second player I've got is Alain Saint-Maxime. So obviously friends of Mario Balotelli, from when they were at Nice. I remember Mario Balotelli used to pull his pranks on his Instagram, and a lot of them were aimed at Mr. Saint-Maxime. I've also got written on my notes Gucci headband, which I think is a positive for him.
Only good things.
You know, he's got a good number of goals and assists, which covers for the assists that you're missing from Zaha. You know, worked with Balotelli before, knows how to get him to score, as you can see from the 33 and 61. I think he'd be available for about 20 to 40 million. You know, then you're left with 20 million. And, you know, there's no harm in helping, chucking that money at the defence, or maybe like a goalkeeper that's not a Nazi. But yeah, those are my two picks. Yeah, Wayne Hennessy's
do you not remember? He doesn't know what a Nazi is.
Yeah, he never saw that.
He's never heard of a Nazi.
Not only that, he also said he loves going to museums, but he only knew about World War One and didn't know anything about World War Two. He must be living in suspense about what happened in World War Two. Those bloody Germans again, was it? Oh,
He's
crikey!
Sat there like, can't wait for the sequel. Okay, Adam, what are we up to now?
Moving on swiftly from that incredible comment from you, we're going to talk about a manager, a player, and a general, you know,
shit out.
Shit. a general shithouse. We'll call him a decisive figure based off that comment alone. It's Mr. Steve Bruce, Kieran, and Pete.
Even Roger.
We're going to look at his playing career, his managerial career, and then finally we'll see what we think he can do with Newcastle going into the future, with apparently Mike Ashley promising 90 million to spend this summer.
Good God.
High emphasis on apparently.
Yeah,
We've heard
after
it
he
all
sells 19 players, he'll give him 90.
John Joe Shelby. Obviously, they've already sold a few. Let's start with the start of Steve Bruce's career. Where did he start playing football, Kieran?
He started at Gillingham. What a lovely place to start your career. You know, in playing in defence, scored 18 goals and finished as a top scorer. Very impressive from Mr. Bruce. Brought a lot of interest around. You know, a defender scoring 18 goals. I know it's for Gillingham, but it's gonna get you some attention. That attention then came from, where did it come from, Adam?
I want to say Norwich.
It was Norwich. That was his next big move. So after being Gillingham's, one of their best players, later he would be added to their Hall of Fame in 2009. He moved to Norwich. What did he do at Norwich, Adam?
He scored more goals.
Yes. Anything else?
Defended like a hero. And I believe got them into the Premier League? Or top division it would have been at the time.
Top division. It wasn't the Prem at the time, was it? Yep. And then finally, in 2002, he also got into Norwich's Hall of Fame. Steve Bruce is a man who loves being in the Hall of Fame. Before finally signing for Man United in 1987. How very exciting. Okay. This is where he spent most of his career. Oh, and yeah, everybody's got a lot of fond memories of him from this era, I believe. It was when people actually liked Steve Bruce.
Quite liked, doesn't
Yeah.
United faithful back then.
Well, I remember when I saw that United were going to replace Jose Mourinho with an ex-player that the fans loved. I thought Steve Bruce hasn't got a job at the moment. You never know.
Brucey.
But there you go for Solskjaer. After his successful longevity at Man United, winning several league titles, he then went to Birmingham City, where he continued to have success and finished his career around Sheffield United.
Yeah, the guy was playing 20 years, wasn't he?
Yeah, very long career.
Been around the block.
Started young. He had you. Okay. Now we go to his managerial career. We're going to skip over a few of the early jobs because they are what we call in the podcast business damp squibs.
Little stepping
Let's
stones,
go.
weren't they?
Yeah. So we're starting his managerial highlights with Birmingham City, obviously a place where he had, played before, and he took them from mid-table in the old First Division into the Premier League via the playoffs, and in the playoff final, who did he beat, Kieran?
I haven't got a clue. Who did he beat?
His former team, Norwich, in the final on penalties.
Oof.
So you can only imagine how well that was received.
You live to see it.
It's poetic justice. And then move on to time at Sunderland, where he just kept them in the Premier League. You know, we'll call it overall successful. Not bad. Then, obviously, much more recently, he was in charge at Hull, who he also took into the Premier League. You know, very much so like we'll call him he's got Warnock factor. He can get you into the Prem if you give him time and resources. You know, he's got every League One best players agent on speed dial. The Warnock factor.
Just to go back, Adam, Sunderland was not a very successful time for him.
No, but he did keep them in the Premier League for the 3 years he was there.
Yeah, but
I mean, that's a
didn't really-
yes.
yeah, he kept them there, but he didn't really do anything amazing, did he?
Well,
He didn't really turn them around.
Sunderland fans might argue keeping them in the Premier League was impressive at that time based on where they are now.
Well, I'm sure they'd like to be there now. Shout out Rico.
I'm sure they would. I'm sure they would like to be there now, but
yeah,
instead they've got Tranmere away on a Tuesday night.
Love that. But yeah, in terms of actual, as a manager, it was his worst win percentage for a team. Of any team that he's ever managed, was Sunderland.
Well, his best was at Crystal Palace, wasn't it, when he was there for a few months? So.
Yes, it was.
Okay, we're gonna go to gonna talk a little bit to our friend Pete about his time at Hull more recently. Took him to the Premier League. His time at Hull, Pete.
He did. He was at Hull 3-4 seasons. A long time. You know my take on Steve. I wasn't made when I found out we were doing a history live.
That's to say the least.
So, I just think he's just a bit like. I don't think he's done anything majorly impressive in terms of. And I know getting promoted out of the Championship is a hard, and fair enough. He's done it a few. But for me, it just seems like he just doesn't care about where he managed or essentially about fans. Like he's managed Sheffield teams, Birmingham and Villa, Sunderland and now Newcastle. I just think if he was more reputable name, I think you'd hear about that a lot more. People might actually care. I just don't think anyone seems first. Oh God, we've got Steve Bruce in charge. Like, Steve Bruce isn't, for me, kind of manager to be feared or worry about. Like, I hope Arsenal 5 past Newcastle next year. If we lose, we'll revisit this pod. We'll
Yeah,
you know, he's managed the teams. I guess he's managed have all been, maybe take out Newcastle, have been sort of lesser known teams. He's bought it, done well, and has normally spent a good 2 seasons. Only 2 seasons. How good of a manager is he to only get 2-3 seasons tops, it seems, in it. It's gone way off topic if you ask me. You know, they're another team that are now, you know, just in the Championship, mid-table. Maybe it is the Steve Bruce factor if you take him out. That just seems.
Yeah. Well, that takes us to Villa because they definitely didn't do that when he left. Lost in the playoff final to Fulham, and he was sacked, and then they go up the next year.
Yeah, I think it's bittersweet. I just don't like. He's never really done anything personal to me, has he? But I think Villa are a big team that should be playing 40,000+ stadium. It's huge, and he's going to want to get one over on him in the Prem next season for sure. But maybe he's just, like I say, never quite the right man, the right time for certain clubs.
Yeah. Okay, that seems fair. Okay, then we just go to finally his last 3 months he was at Sheffield Wednesday. Mildly successful, you could call it.
What month did he get appointed as the Sheffield?
February.
Yeah, I was going to say he didn't.
February.
He didn't have the January.
He was appointed beforehand, but he said that he had prior obligations. He said he was supposed to be going to the Cricket World Cup with his dad or something, or some cricket game. And so he didn't take. He said it was like his dad's last wishes, and he was like nearly dead or something. So they ended up doing that. He didn't take the job still 3 months after he got given it because he was doing something else or something. He said he had prior obligations.
So if he was there early Feb, Was
Yeah.
he there for the win over Ipswich?
Yes, I think that would have
I
been his
think
first
so, yeah.
one.
Because I just remember him drawing quite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he won 7, drew 8, lost 3. Lot of draws. A lot of draws.
Awful, I guess.
No.
I know he took 2 big points off Derby County. And that was like a game that they all thought they were going to win.
Okay.
An interesting bloke he is. Will he do well at Newcastle? Absolutely.
No. Rafa Benitez, he is not.
Well, that's the thing. What is success at Newcastle?
Exactly. Yeah, I agree with you. What is it coming anywhere near Europa League? Yes, a club of that stature should be aiming to get there, but they won't because Mike Ashley is still the owner.
Yeah.
While he is the owner, he's just a poison that club. He really is.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I don't care. Newcastle should be a 6 every season.
Yeah, there should be. That would be success for Newcastle. It'd be back to what they were doing 15 years ago. Trying to compete for Europa League football, decent sized squad. They still are one of the biggest clubs in England.
One of the most followed for sure.
Yeah, they just don't get treated like it, and I don't know why. They've got one of the best home supports I've ever seen, and away support.
Mike Ashley is the reason why.
Well, yeah, Mike Ashley is the reason why. But all he's going to do is scare away future Newcastle fans, and they'll just eventually deteriorate. Because I remember when I go see Newcastle against Preston in the Championship, and I've never seen an away following like it. They sold out like half the stadium, and I just thought this club should not be here right now. They should not be in the Championship. Like,
have they signed that Joe Linton yet?
No, it's close though. Yeah, it seems close. I mean, that would be a nice transfer. Him and Miguel Almiron. I think, other than that, though, I think they've got a solid defence. Other than maybe DeAndre Yedlin. Fabian Shaw. Jamal Lascelles.
Yeah.
2 good players.
Paul Dummett.
I said good players, Kieran.
I think there's work to be done at Newcastle. From absolute top.
100%. Is Steve Mann the one to do that? Probably from the Championship next year. That's all we've got time for on the European Football Podcast. I'd like to say thank you, of course, to Kieran and his incredible, in-depth points about things that may not be true.
It's been a pleasure, as always, to bumble
and
my way through.
The one... Oh, sorry, thank you, Kieran. And the one, the man, the myth, the Arsenal fan, Pete Yates.
You're welcome, Sam.
And so thank you from me. If you've listened to this whole thing, I feel sorry for you, but thank you. Drop a like. Leave in the comments whose pick you picked to replace Zaha. What do you think about Steve Bruce's appointment as Newcastle manager? And have a great night. Thank you very much.